good enough.
I
Okay.
actually have the gift of first aid.
So this is going to give her a bonus die for her.
She rolls her body, her speed, her species, and a d12. And if all of those roll 3 or less, then she dies.
Okay. Body and speed are going to be d4, so it's going to be 2d4.
Yep.
Species will be a d6. Okay, not bad. And a d12. All right. So,
Wow,
not
you were
great.
this close to dying. If you wanted to die, now's the time to spend your luck. So you die.
So you just die. Yep. You burn that luck gif. There
But
should be
no,
a.
I think if you look this up, she's unconscious and sick. She is the worst she could possibly be and still be alive.
Yeah, it's just the frail vibrations of her claw-like hands, or I guess she's an animal, so actual claws, that belay that she's not actually dead. She is
Now,
just
this
sleeping.
is where we can get some wiggle room as a GM because she was already sick, right? Because she's already got the mange, right?
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true.
So if you want to rule that double sick pushes her over some kind of edge,
And she's just dead. That might be the
or
way to go.
even worse, not quite dead, but will die later, and there's nothing we can do about it.
So she just dies at a random moment of my choosing.
If whatever's dramatic. I mean, like this is we put sick in the book so you have some wiggle room about where like we don't know if they'll pull through or not. Like if you're playing almost any other RPG, there's no provision for that. Whereas
Right,
in this
yeah.
game, it's like we hit an old lady. And I like Connor just sitting here going, well, I didn't hit her that hard.
Just like just looking at the mace like, it's more like a tap.
I just hit her with this big metal bar. I don't know what everyone's talking about.
So while Nishka is trying to keep her alive, I will go ahead and take this cheesecloth I got 5 taverns ago and attempt to take the weird bottle amulet thing.
Hey,
Ooh, okay.
you didn't live as long as I have at Triskellion and not spend a lot of time trying to keep old ladies from dying from being clouded by metal bar.
All right. So, with your hand guarded by this cloth, you are able to retrieve this talisman. It's obviously an unholy artifact or relic. It has skull motifs in the design and the brass uh, fixture, and in the center of it, there is this strange little vial of green fluid that seems to bubble internally. Um, and just being near this thing, you feel like waves of like when you think you're pretty sure you're sick and you feel like the first inklings that something's wrong in your sinuses. That's the kind of vibe you get off of this thing as you hold it.
Oh gosh, I got a runny nose now. It is evil.
It's just like, oh, I can just feel it. I feel swollen sinuses. No, it's not good. But it does have mechanical effects. If you'd like to make a supernatural minded supernatural, I can tell
Yep.
you what those are.
Yep, I'm about to investigate this. So let's go find my supernatural. There we go. All
Cool.
right.
And this is a strange magic to you, so I'm looking for 2 successes.
1d6 and d10, and I don't think there's anything I could technically tap on or call upon, is there? I could maybe say research for having done a lot of investigation already around this stuff and literally being given the notes.
I mean, that's a fair point. Research, I guess, would give you a bonus d12.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could do that.
Okay. And yeah, I'm not sure there's anything else. I have like Mystic White Magic, but that doesn't apply here. So let's
Right.
go ahead and do it. So my attempt to investigate reveals 3
Ooh.
successes.
Oh, yes, very good. Okay. Um, yeah, you're recalling some of the notes that you found in Honnet about the scourge of necromancy that occurred 100 years ago in this area of the world, and you've seen similar things to it, to this talisman in your research.
Mm-hmm.
And so yeah, here's what I can tell you is that this is an unholy talisman that will grant you bonus dice on any gift that you would roll for that includes the unholy tag on it. It would grant a bonus 2d4 to those rolls.
Bonus
Okay,
2d4 on any unholy.
bit of advice. It shouldn't be 2d4. It should be 2d6 because the
Mhm.
Because
3
you
6
want to get
roll.
sixes to happen.
Because you want to
Yeah,
get sixes. That makes
everything
sense. You just want to
unholy should
increase
be
that.
encouraging sixes as much as possible for as long as possible.
Right. Okay. Well, let's bump it up. I didn't want it to be too scary because also, I mean, you guys knocked her senseless, but her magic would also be benefiting from this, and it's already kind of a scary spell.
Yeah,
So,
no,
but yeah,
but it should always be decent. You may have noticed, like in the necromancy, it's like, hey, all the necromancy spells roll bonus 2d6.
yeah, they all throw
How
extra d6s
convenient.
on them. Okay, so we'll make
Yeah,
that 2d6 then.
yeah. So
Note from
yeah,
the editor.
All right, so I have this, and it does help her be unholy, but it didn't ensorcel her, did it?
No, no, it did not. It was not compelling her. Um, but you got 3 successes on that, so I'll pontificate a little bit more on
Mhm.
it. Um,
good news,
let me
Connor.
see here.
Apparently, she was just evil, so it was okay for you to hit her over the head with that.
That's roll off my mind.
There you go. Yep. Yeah. So, this creature, and it's starting to make more sense now. When you first encountered her, you did not sense that she was a practitioner of magic. She was not carrying a staff that would be associated with that, or trappings that would enable her to do that. And just from kind of the way that she was equipped, right? You didn't get that feeling from her. And to be sure, you're quite sure now that this person has probably never been an actual practitioner of magic, but they were affected by a powerful magic. They
Mhm.
were cursed in some way to walk the earth and to spread this uh well, frankly blasphemous teaching. Um Apparently that has come from the lips of the Lady Amalsand, who, well, as a
Oh, great.
Doloro native, you might not know too much about the royal family in
I
Triskellion,
do.
but yes, but Anushka would, right?
Yes, do you know who this Amelsand is? Certainly it
How do
can't
you
be a
not?
proper noble.
How do you not know who the lady is? She's the
Because
most
I spend a bunch
feared
of time in
person.
street gangs.
I thought. Is this just for show? I say, smacking his electrum rod.
I have a complicated history of not paying attention.
Hmm. Okay, I'll give you that. Anyway, the lady is the parent of our current regent, and if word is to be believed, she was banished from a foreign land for being the most evil and reprehensible necromancer the world has ever seen.
And yet, here is a thrall of hers walking the earth, cursed.
Casting necromantic spells on people. So story checks out.
Not just giving out necromantic uh, curses to people, but offering them information where they can get more. Look at this. This is pages. This is a whole book. And she has
Yeah,
writing supplies.
this is like the second time we've seen one of these too.
Well, the previous one was, I believe, a victim of exactly this sort of person,
Hmm.
given the
You know,
opportunity to find new magic, and went and did so.
I would say that before I got mixed up with you folks, that I hadn't seen so much necromantic stuff, but I only recently learned how to read. So who knows how much necromantic stuff I'm passing around.
You've learned that
Yeah,
reading is bad.
you've been lucky so far.
The only true way to protect the populace is to keep them completely ignorant.
Well, I
Hmm.
suppose we should keep going to the Abbey and turn this into them. So do we have to give this to a hobbit or something, or is it going to slowly compel you towards evil?
I don't know.
I could go ahead and do some research on this, and also figure out maybe if there's a safe way to dispose of it as well.
I like how you say go do some research. We're in the middle of a field.
Once we get
Yeah,
to
you'll have to go
town.
back
Yeah, we
once you get back.
we gotta
So
go back to town. We gotta
I love
bring
your
the
logic.
body with us, I think.
I, I wonder if this item slowly corrupts people. Well, better carry it for several hours. I mean, did you see her? Her mind was diseased as much as her body.
Right, but I believe it wasn't the cause of the curse, just a helpful tool
But
for someone with no
can't,
magic.
well, you can't know that until you research. But once again, I'm supposed to be effervescent.
Mhm.
So I applaud your bravery. Let us go. I suppose the men can pick this woman up, but
Yeah.
I'm loath to move her because she's like, literally inches away from death. Like one botch and she's gone.
I mean,
Did we
have
bring
the
anything
militia do
for,
it.
did we bring anything for transporting like half dead women in?
We got a cart.
Got a cart, yeah.
There we go.
Doesn't have very good shocks.
Push the swords aside.
So in Mulan Avenge, then, we'll have to go and say, hey, this Abby here, guess what? Witch, but unconscious and almost dead.
That works.
Yeah. Moulin Auvent, all we know about it from the Gazetteer is that they have fine craftsmen. I'm going to say that they are not as well equipped for this kind of thing as Honnet did, which is a literal outpost of religious monks, right?
Yeah, they have also fine craftsmen, but also their name, they have mills.
Well,
I
the
mean,
odds
you
are
know.
she's either going to be unconscious or infirm for several days, so if they don't feel equipped, they can take her in the opposite direction we're going.
Well, but they have signal towers, so they can at least tell Harmony that they have somebody here.
Right.
That's
So
true. And they do have holding cells. It's not like they have nowhere to put her.
Mhm.
It's just that if
church.
she is a
It-
dark
Yeah, it's a
magician.
town. They'll have a church.
Yeah.
So hopefully that'll do, and then we can continue on our way to Harmony.
All right, cool. And you're holding on to the talisman. You're
Mhm.
getting a nice collection of evil trinkets.
Well, I think we dumped the necromancy stuff.
Yeah,
That's true. The first necromancy stuff you found,
yeah,
you
the
had a
actual
book.
gifts are like in the river right now.
Yeah,
I
but
love
the
that.
I was gonna dip his mace in acid after it touched her.
nice, just give it a little spit shine.
Yep.
Okay, you guys are taking all the precautions, and I appreciate that. So keeping yourself safe from taint. I will say, so yeah, so I'm not referring to the necromancer trappings that you dumped in the river, but I'm talking about the journal of the
Oh,
deer
yes.
necromancer from last
Yeah,
session.
we got all the
I assume you
journals
still
from...
have that.
Yeah, we got the journals from there, we got this new amulet, we got indications of where all the evil stuff is. It's great.
Sooner or later, you're gonna take the dive. You're gonna be like, oh, it'd be so easy.
Look, if
Just
you
gotta
want me to
take
become a
apprentice
necromancer, it's
necromancy.
really easy. All you have to do is give me like 4 gifts for free.
There you go.
Give me
I'm
like
not gonna go
40
that far.
experience over everyone else.
Not gonna go that far. No, you do have to buy it. You do have to take the plunge into darkness. I
Actually
can
having to
only
put
show you
effort
the
into
dark
my
path.
darkness. I thought this was the quick and easy path.
Well, it's a good strategy.
I wanted to study, I'd go back to university.
I should
Kind
call
of.
her into some black magic.
Yeah,
That would be some shenanigans.
right.
Yeah, mix it up a little bit. Potter just comes to you one day, it's like, I am the darkness. Everyone's like,
What's all
sure
this talk
you
of
are.
morality? This is a war.
This explains
We
why he's so
left
terrible
good
at
and evil.
rallying. He was trying to scare us the whole time. And
Oh,
failed.
no, Potter is the real one. You got to watch out for. He has Dark Lord written all over him.
Yeah, exactly. Did I say... I meant to say Potter if I didn't.
Oh,
Okay.
Potter, yeah. No, you're right then. I'm in total agreement. That would be the ultimate late game twist. Poor Potter.
Yeah, pretty freaky.
Alright.
Pretty freaky.
So, with our darkness in tow, onward to Harmony.
Yeah. Well, you're dropping her off at Moulin, or are you going to Harmony?
We're dropping her off at Moulin and then heading to Harmony, because that's the same road, right?
Oh yeah. You're going up the. You were here, and now you're just dropping her off on the way, and you finally make it to Harmony.
So, who wants to be the one to break the news? 1, 2, 3, not it?
What?
I
The
think
death of
a man
Harman.
accustomed to giving death's final rites should be the one to give this burden of news.
I guess I have to be the one everyone hates to see. Sure. It's not like I want to make friends. Besides, I have actually talked to her before, so at least she'll remember me. I think.
Well, I have a letter. I can just deliver the letter. That's my introduction.
That might be a little bit personal. Well, I mean, nothing says we can't all go together if you don't want. If you want.
Well,
I'll come
I'm
with
going because I have to deliver this letter.
All right. Well, I'm going to because, well, I'll probably be needed. And Sir
All
Connor.
right, Connor, you want to wait outside while the awkward happens, or are you
Y'all
there
come
too?
in.
Okay.
All right. You all once again lay eyes on the Harmano Abbey, and the place is not as you left it. The last time you guys were here, you were defending it from invaders. Since then, it has been fortified. The palisades have been um, repaired, and there is quite a large army presence, much like you saw in Moulin. Um, but you are well known in these parts here, Connor, and the locals recall the valiant efforts that you made to defend them during the last siege. And you are happily led towards the abbey, where you are known, not cohorts, but acquaintances of the abbess Colette, who you learn on your way there has been well dour lately. All of the war effort has taken its toll on this outpost, which is currently one of the largest hospitals, basically for those wounded coming back from the front lines.
Mhm.
And the acolytes of the abbey have their hands full, much like the last time you saw them, basically like treating wounded soldiers. But you find Colette in her quarters. She has a study that has scrolls and books lining the shelves. And when she sees you, Connor, actually, when she sees all three of you, her expression brightens for a moment, but there is a look of confusion. She's waiting for Harman, the large and muscle bound horse knight, to step through the door behind you, but he does not come, and you can tell that she knows something is wrong immediately. She says, well met, travelers. It has been many days. What news do you bring us here at the Abbey? And if it's not too much to ask, um, on what journey have you dispatched your good friend Harman? Sir Harman, right?
Oh, it has been quite a long journey, and I'm sure there's plenty of things we could share. But we come, well, because of Harman. We have something of his to deliver. And I believe this is a huge pouch of gold, isn't it? As well as the letter, isn't it?
Wait, we had
Oh,
money this whole time?
I wonder. I
I
feel
was
like
pretty certain it was part of it.
we'll have to ask Theta when he gets back next week.
I'm
I
pretty
was
sure
under
some
the
of it was going to
impression.
Colette, so.
Oh, okay.
But the
Then
letter
I
is
mean that
going to
makes
be
sense.
here. I don't know what's in the letter, unfortunately.
Yeah, none of us do. So it's gonna be kind of
She'll of
I have
course
it
go
though.
somber. It's like, oh, he always meant
yep.
well. It's like, well, he also tried to have the fight of the ages out up in what territory? Full on territory.
Mm. Well, so Anushka, are you delivering? You are delivering the letter, right?
I mean, I delivered the letter. I don't know what's in it.
Yeah.
But yes, alas, Harman was guilty of the sin of pride, and it eventually was his undoing.
Yeah. As she reads the letter, you see her hand goes to her chest, and crestfallen. You see tears well up in her eyes, but she does not cry. She keep a stiff upper lip, and after a moment, she says, "This, uh, this is grave news. Um, were you there? Were you there with him during this when this happened? When this occurred?"
That'd be a Anushka
Yeah,
question.
yeah. I
Against his
mean,
wishes, we were.
I think was I the closest.
You were pretty close. Connor was struggling in a tree, so he might not have seen what happened at the time, but I think
And
Connor,
he
I was a
did.
little lost, so.
Yeah.
Connor was distracted. So yes, I was there at the end. Uh,
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 hmm.
I hope he has found peace. I'll say I actually have the scene.
Oh, great. So she says, so it's true then. He did not survive. You saw him fall.
I saw him fall. Yeah. I'm gonna lie.
You're gonna lie to her. Ooh, okay. Let's have a deceit roll then.
Okay. That is 2 successes. I sure
Well,
hope you don't have inquiry as a class skill.
we're gonna. Ooh. Oh man, she is. Oh no, sorry. I have to do a quick. I have to see. She would be some sort of religious leader. I could imagine inquiry, but let's see what we've got in the book.
Uh, Almoner is the 2 main paths are Almoner is the thinky path and Paladin is the fighting path. I
Right.
think,
So this would be Almoner.
do Almoners get inquiry?
They do not. Academics,
Okay,
leadership,
phew.
She's
supernatural.
also a
Okay.
blessed one, if I recall right. She actually has both magics, doesn't she?
Oh, does she? I
At
know that
least
she's a
last time I
follower,
remember
but
that we were talking largely about syncretism last time we were here.
yeah, we were. I think she's a follower, but I think it's different to be like a full-on blessed one to have like that kind of
And,
magic.
Yeah.
So,
uh,
um,
blessed is, an incarnation, it's not,
mm.
an
Yeah, I mean, I guess my understanding is that like much in the way that you could believe in Salumer but not have healing magic, you would believe in Lutherism but not necessarily
Hmm. Okay,
commune with
that's fair.
spirits,
So
right?
I
she is
believe in
just within the
Saltmare.
almoner kind of tree here then.
Yeah, so we'll go with that. I still want to roll though,
Hey, go
because
ahead.
there is an outside chance that she could beat you here, and she does.
Oh wow.
Oh yeah, hot dice, hot dice. Okay, so she's reading your expression and she can tell that you're holding something back, but she doesn't know what it is. And she is going to fold the letter and calmly say, Anushka, I um, have considered us friends. I want you to know that I am uh, no weakling, and that I can take the truth. I would ask that you give it to me.
Ah, make you lie to a priest. Um,
And you chose to.
I don't think Anushka could lie to a priest. She knows no fear and serves with joy. So, no. Well, he fell in battle, and then the goblins took him. Um,
Gasp.
so he's gone to the goblin place, wherever that is. Hopefully, it is not beyond the light, but who can say? I don't know.
All right. She doesn't say anything for a good long time, and you see that she's thinking, and a look of determination crosses her brow, and she will say, I am indebted to all of you for traveling so far to bring me this message. Is there anything that I can do for you in payment?"
No, money's good.
Well, I did mean to come up here to continue some research, as I do have some strange and disturbing findings of late. Have you heard recent reports about necromancers starting to appear in this region? And I will start to show her my evidence.
Oh boy.
Because I
Yeah.
trust her, so I'll share it with her.
All right. Excellent. Okay, so she is keenly interested in what you have to show her. And as you mentioned that, uh yes, she's immediately she has her own tales to tell apparently that they had been receiving word from nearby villagers, peasants basically, that there were sort of horrible things happening. Um and while she believed them, she believed that there was unholy magic afoot. The soldiers and the I guess the leading general who is occupying Harmony right now thinks that this is all just superstitious stories made up to explain raiders, basically, and
Mhm.
bandits. So he says the general has largely ignored Colette's. Well, she has implored them to lend some of the soldiers who are off duty to go and investigate these things, and has been shot down every time. There's actually been quite a contentious relationship growing there between Colette and the military, essentially, to the point where she says that she's not sure. She gets the feeling that she's probably going to be sent out on assignment somewhere or sent back to Shalon Sasaldra
Mhm.
soon. There's been whisperings that they're going to get rid of her because she's becoming a nuisance up here.
Ah.
So she's very interested to see this evidence, um, and says to herself that surely now he will have to consider that there truly is a well, uh, heresy being conducted on the poor people of the Avoirdupois lands.
And what's worse is that the name the Lady Amassans is on the lips of these dark practitioners too.
Hmm. That is even more troubling. And as you say this, she seems to remember something, and it's something that well, you see there's like a look of fear flash across her face,
Mhm.
but as she clears her throat, she says, "This is very important work that you have done, and of course you have full access to our library, which is one of the most comprehensive sources um, of information, right, on this particular topic on unholy magic. So she can grant you that authority, and she does gladly give you leave to use any resources that you can find here, so long as she is still in charge of the abbey.
Of
She says
course.
that she also has something else that she wishes to speak with you about, and um, she calls out to the sort of, I don't know, the antechamber. And
Mhm.
she says, Mercurio, would you join us, please? And in walks a young man, probably like mid 20s. He is wearing the robes of an acolyte, and he is a gray fox. And he enters into the room and gives her a bow and says, Abbess, hello, who are your friends? And she introduces him to the rest of you. She says, This is Mercurio. He is a new addition to our abbey. He was found not far from here. Apparently, he had suffered some sort of injury, perhaps as a part of the war, and has lost his memory. I'm sorry to share these personal details, Mercurio. And the fox looks a little bit uncomfortable, but he nods. He says, What the abbess says is true. It has been, well, several weeks now, and still none of my memories have returned. She says that there are reasons, and you may not be privy to them, but certain members of the um occupying forces here are distrustful of Mercurio, of our dear friend here. And, well, I have reason to believe that he may hail from Triskellion, and I do not have an opportunity necessarily to help him as much as I would like. He has been invaluable in his service to me over these past few weeks. But I was wondering if you thought you were going to be returning that way anytime. If you would take this good sir with you, this good acolyte with you, perhaps you could help him find his memory. And in the process, well, I fear for him here. The rumors are.
Well, I believe we were heading further afield, off to Fair Marouge again, to deliver yet more messages. Uh, but if he's going to be unsafe here, perhaps he is better in our custody.
Um, Mercurio is going to say, "Well, I do know how to manage a sword, and Uh, I mean, if it is the lady's wish, I do not intend to overburden anyone. I'm truly just trying to stay out of the way and be as little of a nuisance as possible." He continues and says, "But of course, I'm indebted to my lady. Um, she has been nothing but kind to me, and anything that I can do to repay that kindness, I will. So if you think that this is the best course of action, um, Abbess, then I will accompany these individuals." Um, and Colette will add, "Well, uh, I had hoped, yes, that he would go as quickly to Triskellion as possible, but I do suppose that it might be better to get him away from here. As I said, I'm not sure for how much longer I will be the abbess of Harmony, so she
Right.
looks like she has a lot on her mind."
While I cannot guarantee that our roads are always the safest, well, there's few places or few people as strong as Sir Connor to protect him.
This is a fair point. Of course, it is Sir Connor whose permission I should be asking. Would you do this favor for me and all and I will be greatly in your debt, indebted to you all.
I cannot take him to Triskellion, for I have made an enemy of the king, but I can protect him wherever if he wishes to follow our path.
All right. Well, Colette will exchange a look with Mercurio, who seems like he's not going to put up any fight there. And she's going to bow deeply to you, Connor, and tell you that this is well, that once again, just layering praise upon praise and thanking you. And at this point, I guess I'll say that you guys have completed the goal of delivering the message, so that's one less goal on your goal list.
All right.
And if you'd like, you can accept the goal of helping. I was going to say helping Mercurio reach Triskellion, but we could modify that and say help Mercurio regain his lost memory.
There we go.
Okay, so that's yeah. Sorry guys, have I been stuttering? Because sometimes the call's been dropping on.
Oh,
You
no.
haven't for me.
Okay.
Yeah, you're coming in clear.
Well, I haven't been talking while you have. And while you were doing all of that, sometimes you were dropping out.
Mhm.
That could be me
Noted.
too. Sometimes my mic.
Okay.
All right. Well, I suppose at least for me, it's time for me to get to work. So,
Indeed.
I'm going to do research, more collaborating notes, and things already specifying areas that are full of terrible dark magic. Now I get to learn about them.
Yes, now you do. So, excuse me. So, let's see here. You do have great resources at your disposal. So I was thinking about giving you a bonus dice, but I guess mechanically speaking, research is about how well you use the resources that you have, right? So
Yeah.
you already have a good number of dice, I take it, for that. You're using your academics and your D12 for research and your mind.
Yup, I've got a good bit of that going.
Okay, then. So let's not gild the lily. Let's do a straightforward research roll, and we'll see what you can find in their stores. And this is probably going to be like a night's worth of work or a day's worth of work.
Mhm.
In the meantime, you guys are all given quarters in the Abbey. They're not fancy, but there's no dying people in them, so that's something, and it's, safe.
Yup. So, I have my research roll set up. So, what bonus dice were you thinking about, if any?
So I was thinking about bonus dice, but really it's more like the information, like there's juicier information here because it exists here.
Okay,
And I think I'd
that's good.
rather consider that, right, than consider, oh, you
That's
get a
fine.
bonus because they have more books to look through. That really wouldn't be a bonus to researching.
So I'm gonna roll just the dice I already got then. Let's do it.
Cool.
Research with 2 7s, and I'm gonna put my personality into it. Not really get much further. Hey, did anyone want to join me on a library adventure like Mercurio, who probably has an academics dice at this point? And give me a
Yeah,
D8?
that's not a bad idea. Yeah, Mercurio will help you.
And he does!
Hey, there you go.
There we go, so now we've gotten up to 3 because he's been around the libraries recently and actually knows where things are. What a weird sorting system. Dewey Decimal? Who would ever heard of that?
Well, historically, you would sort them by language first, and then by assumed age. So yeah, the indexing is crap. But I can
Mm.
read, and I have academic.
Oh, you can join on this adventure. Oh, botch.
I am worse than useless.
Wow.
But I know no fear and serve with joy, so I'm going to have to compensate with my obnoxious personality.
You don't
Which
have
I
a,
need.
specialty in academics? Oh, you do, first aid.
My first aid's my
Yeah.
specialty is first aid. But I didn't waste my personality lying to that abbess earlier, so I'm still in good spirits. So I'll claim my personality die effervescent and not fail. You get an
Actually,
extra
are
D8.
you a team player?
Nice.
No, you're not. So D8. There we go. We're up to
No,
4
I'm not a
now.
team player.
That is another success. Cool. All right. So the way I'm picturing this is that like you ask Anushka to like put away the books you don't need, and she ends up putting away the books you do need, and then you have to go find them. But she's like, "No, I'll get it," and then she goes and grabs them all back. But yes, it's a night's work, and 4 successes is not bad. So let me see what I can tell you for that. All right, so you're using the notes that you were given and the journal. And the talisman, you're cross-referencing this with tomes found in the abbey, and as I said, that you found research indicated that there was a similar uprising of unholy ritual that was being conducted 100 years ago, give or
Mhm.
take. So you're able to find even more detailed descriptions of these events that were transcribed by the inquisitors at the time. And what they were able to tell you, uh, they have much more specific information about these unholy sites. Apparently, many of them were, even though they were purged of the necromancers that were using them, they did not have the knowledge of how to completely consecrate the land that they were on.
Mhm.
And so many of these sites were cautioned to be heavily policed and guarded, right, by the forces of the day to make sure that they were not that common folk and especially, of course, sorcerers or wizards would not trespass on these lands, and they are well marked. And you can see that many of those places are also marked on the map from the harbinger of Lady Amelsand, the old lady. So that's the first thing. You also find more detailed descriptions about this spirit trap, the ritual that you were given instructions on how to create. Based on the ancient scholars, they were doing, or older scholars, I guess, they were investigating these, and this is what they found. The ritual is as such: you create a pentagram of about 12 paces across on one of these desecrated sites. You create these specific effigies. They look like scarecrows made of wood and cloth and adorned with a skull. There are 5 of them for the 5 points of the pentagram, and they each require the skull of a different species of critter, of sentient person, of course, because this is unholy and evil magic.
Mhm.
Um, they say that once one of these things is created, it draws the spirits towards it, and it makes them easier to harness, allowing for more powerful dark magic to be conducted. Now, the Inquisitors were instrumental in destroying these things, and here's some more information that they had about them. First of all, they say that so long as the ritual is uninterrupted and the effigies stand, the area that they create cannot be consecrated by holy magic. It is immune to the consecration spell.
Ooh.
Um, let's see. They say that destroying the effigies will weaken this hold, but it is not until all of them are destroyed that the land is ready for consecration. Um, and also that they found when battling these forces that this area created an unholy aura that radiated for 100 feet around the center point of these ritual sites, and that conducting any kind of holy magic um, was difficult because of the imbalance, right? And because of that, mechanically speaking, your holy dice will be capped. So you will have a limit placed on the holy magic in these things, so long as this ritual site is intact.
Right. So the goal is to ruin the ritual first and then try to stop whatever's happening, if possible. Got it.
Exactly, exactly. Now you don't find anything else about um, the connection to Lady Amelsand or this strange harbinger
Mhm.
creature that you guys managed to nearly kill but knock out. But of course, they weren't around 100 years ago, presumably, so that's not overly surprising.
Right. So I guess my question here would be, so you mentioned a few locations on the map. Could we go ahead
Right.
and mark those at this point, I think?
That is a very good. Yes, that's a very good idea. It'd be really cool right now is if I found in the public assets, free assets, some sort of pentagram icon.
There's almost certainly one. If you just like type in like
Right?
circle or magic circle, it'll come up with a couple things too
Here's
that I
one.
like to
Oh, those are
use.
premium from the
You
yeah,
can get
that's
a
cool.
monogram out of the Horn and Ivory book now.
Hey, here's one.
Okay, I'm gonna shrink this down. I hope that's visible.
It is.
Okay.
It is very big.
Yeah, this is very big. So,
Make a pentagram around the entire country.
you know,
It's all evil. It's all a write-off.
right? I'm gonna do this in red so that it actually shows up. So
You
it's
can
less
actually tint
interesting, but
tokens.
ooh, can you?
Yeah. Underneath their
Do you know
name, there's
how?
an option where you can choose a color for them.
Okay, let's try that.
Yeah, when you
Boom.
go to like edit the token attributes.
Tint color. Yeah. What happens if we turn it red? Oh.
Yeah, how's that?
Okay. That's not too bad. Okay, it's still kind of small, but we'll start. So there's one there.
Mm-hmm.
You know. All right. There's one here in Dolo country,
Okay.
by the river. And there's one down here. And one over here in the Rothus Mountains.
Oh, that's way out there.
Yeah. Apparently this was a very serious problem. And there's one down here in a forest south of Triskellion. And we're going to say that there is one more way out here as well.
Oh,
Dang,
that's
I
just
think I
awkward
switched
then.
back my language with Brother Fennec. No, I kept it. Okay, so I can actually speak to the people now.
Nice.
I can
Okay,
speak
cool.
it.
Yep. Now remember, these are the sites that were found 100 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And they match up. I mean, they also appear on the map that you were given by the Harbinger. So, yeah.
All right. Well, this is good days of work. We now know where evil is everywhere. So start screaming now.
Start screaming now. Yeah, Mercurio, as you're uncovering this stuff and he's reading what you're what you're reading over your shoulder, he's looking more and more concerned and he says, my dear fellow, I am quite sorry, but your group seems to be witch hunters of a sort?
Well, not in any official capacity or anything, but of late we appear to be coming across more and more of these foul dark magics, and, well,
Yeah.
it would be against my principles to let it stand without being challenged.
You have principles?
Occasionally. In between drinks.
When they're convenient.
He says, as friends of the abbess, I assumed that you were, um, well, people of great importance, but I did not imagine that you were adventurers. It seems that you are quite capable if you think that you can single-handedly ruin a plot of this magnitude.
Well, perhaps not single-handedly, but Sir Connor does have resources and some amount of clout. If we can wield that on his way through Shallange or Saldre, then perhaps we could have more than one agent dealing with it.
Well, that's I must confess that I myself have no experience with these things, but again, I will do what I can to support you in whatever your quest is, as the abbess uh, has commanded.
Of
He does
course.
seem a little bit apprehensive. I'll say you can see that like the tail twitches. You get the sense that this guy is a little bit frightened for his life, but that's probably a normal reaction to this kind of stuff.
So I guess since I spent some time with him, what career does he currently possess? Is he also Almoner right now, or nothing at all?
Ooh, yeah. I mean, that's a good question. He's been working there for like, let's say 2 weeks. I don't know if that's enough to necessarily take the career, but for simplicity's sake, maybe we should go with that. Um, has letters, right? He is literate, and because he's reading over your shoulder. Um, and the way he speaks suggests that perhaps he was an academic before whatever
Mhm.
tragedy befell him that stole his memory. If you were to ask him, would say he doesn't actually know what his previous form of employment was. Um, so maybe it's for the best that we leave it kind of mysterious.
That's also fine. But while I have him, given that he has retrograde amnesia, I'd like to see what I can learn of that and what I can do to help him.
All right then. That
So
sounds like it's going to be academics.
I do have my regular medicine check if you want me to roll that.
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay. So I'm gonna remove the target body and quota stuff here because I'm assuming I'm not actually healing him here.
No.
But to learn more information, I have 4 successes.
Okay. With 4 successes, let's see. You give him like a full. You ask him permission, of course, right?
Yeah.
And he says, "Oh, yeah, anything that you could do to help regain my memory." I
Well, there
mean,
seems
I
to be a big concave lump in your head right here. I'm sure that'll buff right out.
look, stitches. That's weird. Um, no, he says he confides in you that like I'm not sure if you've ever forgotten anything and how frustrating that can be, but my life has been torment for the past 2 weeks, knowing that there is more to my life and not being able to find it is torture. So yes, he's grateful. So you give him a full physical and he gladly acquiesces to it. And I'll say that he looks to be perfectly fit in the prime of life, and the um you don't see any scars or anything that would suggest a head injury. Um, and honestly, your best bet at this point is that whatever would have robbed him of his memory, it was probably magical in origin and something
Ah,
that wouldn't have left physical marks.
should I perhaps roll supernatural?
Yeah,
Or
why not?
add those dice in right now. Let's just do it.
Yeah, just add a couple. There you
Alright.
go.
So I get an extra success off the supernatural.
Okay. So, this gets into the question of what it could be. I don't think there's any kind of visible like magical residue on him or
Mm-hmm.
any I don't know what signs of a curse would look like necessarily, but you don't see any obvious signs of a curse. With 1 success, I'll say that you are aware that there are forms of dark magic out there that can cloud the mind
Oh, if we want to make
and
that a separate roll, here's
presumably
mind as well. Yeah, so one. So yeah,
cool.
they could
Okay,
cloud
so
his
so
mind.
yeah, so you know that there are magics in the world that could do this, could lead to such an effect. Um, although I guess in your recollection, when you've heard it used, they're like stupefying spells. Not only do they rob you of your memory, but generally also your ability to speak. So this might not necessarily be that, but it's your best
Mm-hmm.
guess.
Right. And I guess the question would be, do these wear off after some amount of time or require some impetus to remove? What could I do?
Man, that's a very good question,
I
actually.
know that there is a white magic spell that specifically is, hey, you're under control of something? Not anymore.
Not no mo. Um, oh no, this is where my research is falling apart.
Ah.
I was not prepared. Always be prepared for them to cure your plot convenient
I mean,
illnesses.
there are spells like healing and other more involved sacerdotal spells
Mhm.
that
Put severance to it if it's a forgetfulness spell from the green and purple school.
it would what do it?
Severance.
Oh
Severance.
no, well, it is there some has he been damaged so much that his memory is beyond him, or is there an external force acting on him to keep him from
Mhm.
That would be giving away too much. I can't tell you
right?
that.
If
Yeah,
it's
he
an
doesn't know.
external,
You don't know.
If we were
okay,
to go into the realm of applying the fantastical to the real, it's very possible that maybe a magical spell has finally done physical damage to his brain in some regard.
oh no, that's well, your
Mm.
soul is a metaphysical part.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Also, I always encourage folks to think in terms of magical thinking.
Yeah.
So
I'm going the opposite route, of course, but magical
right,
thinking would be more applicable here.
severance removes all contagion from you. Like, for example, if someone has some of your hair, they can locate you, or they can,
Mm.
if they use inkling spells on you, they can invade your dreams and that sort of thing. That's someone having a force that's acting upon you by synecdoche, by contagion. Severance removes all ties to you. So if there was a
Mm.
foreign source that was acting on him to keep him from remembering, that would remove that. So severance wouldn't do it if it's just damage. We had a house rule in the games, and it's still mentioned in the book somewhere, that if you botch on a resistance roll against a spell, you could be permanently screwed up.
Hmm.
We didn't like make that really big because we've noticed that game masters, if the book tells them you can make players feel sad, GMs will use that as an excuse, and then it makes us feel bad as
Mm.
designers that someone bullied
Yeah.
their players with that.
But that would
But
probably be very applicable here.
right, I mean,
Yeah.
it's one of the nice
NPCs.
rules about a botch because a botch is you're in. It's saying like something incredibly terrible happened to somebody. It's also going back to hitting women over the head with iron bars. The theme in Ironclaw that any attempt to use violence can always have permanent and long-lasting repercussions, even magic violence. So
Yeah.
I'm guessing the question is whether his memory is damaged or stolen, because it's possible to
Mm.
steal parts of people's personality.
Hmm.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Okay. So it sounds like, mechanically speaking, there's a lot of different things that could be doing this. And you guys are encouraged to try healing it however you are able to. You are in an abbey with powerful white magic users as well, so you're in a position where you could try some of this stuff.
Well,
Right.
if his memory's been stolen, we would have to go get it back.
Mhm.
Yeah,
And unfortunately, this is the area of cognoscenti magic, not necessarily healing magic. You guys know your fancy, oh, I can heal the body and that kind of stuff. If someone's stolen part of his mind, which is
Right.
different from the soul, we'd have to find mind wizards to help us.
Hmm.
Mind wizards. All right. Well, yeah.
Yeah,
So,
my
But
brain
this
isn't
is
that
stuff
big.
that Anushka, that's why I have academics. This is stuff I wouldn't necessarily know. Um, but yeah, it could be his memory stolen. It could be it's damaged. You guys know it's possible to steal parts of people's personality and use them for personal gain, right?
yes.
I believe we
Okay, good.
literally encountered that on the road a day ago.
Yeah,
I was going to have a shade steal someone's love for their son that they revenge on them for murdering somebody I cared about.
yeah, just murder my son. I
damn,
don't care. I used to love him, but I don't care anymore.
that
Really,
is
if we
some
could
cold shit.
just have ghosts stealing our pesky emotional baggage, that would really help us out so much.
I know, right? To short circuit it a little bit, Mercurio will say that when he arrived at the abbey, they ran him through all kinds of white magical cures because, of course, that would be the
Yeah,
first thing they did, right?
Hmm.
And none of them seemed to help. So you can probably cross off like physical damage from the
that's
list
why
of.
you need to have a
Yeah.
cognoscente on staff, because you know, it's not something wrong with his body or his soul, but with his mind. Mind's different from the soul. It is. I tried to explain it to you, but you're not a wizard. You wouldn't
Right.
understand.
And of course, the most
Okay.
straightforward way of probably solving this would always be to, hey, find out what his past is and reconnect it with him and hope it just jogs his memory.
Does that work? Huh.
Maybe. You see, I'm
Okay.
building a thesis right now. If I could just get some evidence.
There you
Well,
go.
if reminding him of his past would help, we could do that. What do we know about his past?
Nothing.
From nothing. The best you can tell is that he speaks with a Triskellion accent.
That I can recognize.
Yeah, he came
Yeah.
with no papers, he came with no items, he came with nothing. So
We
someone literally
could
just dropped him off naked up here, huh?
Hmm.
we could take him back to Triskelion and see if anyone recognizes him.
But if someone's willing to go through the effort of stealing parts of his personality to make sure he never comes back, that could in itself be dangerous on top of the
Well,
idea that we're not welcome there.
something happened that stole his memory. So, if he's an important person back in Triskelion, they could. Can you use stolen memories? Like I can imagine if they stole his memory, they could be using that to steal all of his finances or mess with his own empire or whatever.
Right, and that would be, well, quite the conspiracy.
Yeah, I mean it's like stealing your diary, but better.
Well, before we start to
Yeah.
speculate about your highly exciting life that you don't know anything about, I suppose we ought to actually take steps towards it first.
He says, I am at your disposal. I've begun to lose hope that I'll ever regain the life that I had, but well, I'm trying to take heart in having new and courageous traveling companions. And he gives you a weak smile that he's trying to
That's
make look, yeah.
No, that's the spirit. You should always be trying to enjoy life, whatever the conditions.
Yes, I think that is a good philosophy.
So, have you read this chapbook yet?
I don't know if I have.
He's like, I don't know. No, he'll take your chapbook and he'll thoughtfully thumb through it and go like, oh, very interesting. I will give this a further reading.
I have added a few of my own notes to these chapbooks at this point. You can see that I've
Doodles in the
drawn
margin.
them as stick figures to help simulate the situation.
Oh, I love it. Okay.
It's just ink crayon on it.
Oh
These are
my
the worst
goodness.
chapbooks ever.
They're probably like half melted from weather and crumpled, and they've got bits of like undead flesh stuck to them. But yeah, they're no, he's
That's the
reading it like
experience.
that's the I've seen my share of ups and downs. So
All
yeah,
right.
this guy Mercurio seems to be on board.
All right. So, Anushka and I are busy all day. Sir Connor, what are you up to? Are you gonna like talk to the local military and see how the war is going because you're noble?
I was considering doing something like that, but I also remember that on the way here we had seen if we could send a messenger to have my stuff sent to Harmony,
Yeah.
and I guess
Oh
this would be
yeah,
the
let's see if
time to
stuff
ask
delivered.
for that plot twist for a signature item so I get my armor back.
Yeah, I'm into it. Um, I will say you probably have to wait a few more days here because there's a lot of distance to travel, but there's nothing pressing that would cause you guys to have to leave. You could take this opportunity to rest a little bit and have your items there. And you sent that message like a week ago, like back when you were in Silverhorn, I think.
Yeah.
So yeah, so it's probably only like 2 days by the time your parcel arrives and you get your armor back.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah, so we
I know
can.
I willingly made it harder on myself by saying let's go with the plot, but I'm glad I did.
I'm glad you did too. I think it's a cool mechanic in the game that you can get this stuff back,
Mhm.
um, because you should be able to. But also narratively, this makes a lot more sense. So
Right. So
I'm
we
into
can
it.
rest a few days and not get into a fight and have a good time with it, I think. I
Exactly.
guess while we're here, the doctor's probably just having some time talking with Colette about all this business, telling her about like various news along the way as we've traveled, and probably making sure she's not about to go out into the middle of the Phalon woods in order to find Harman and rescue him from goblins of the likes of which even Harman could not contest with.
Wow, it's like you know her. It's like you can read her mind because that's clearly what she's planning to do. She's asking, as you're telling of your exploits, she seems keenly interested in the Phalon territories, in the mission that you found there, which she seems to have heard of, although she never met any of the went and returned.
Hmm.
But yeah, it's you get the distinct sense that she is plotting an exit from her life as abbess, and that she plans to go after, investigate what became of Harmon for herself.
I would of course recommend against it, not the least because, well, someone like you does not possess the sort of pride he does. He went out there to accomplish his own goal, to prove he was the greatest, even against the most supernatural of beings. He was a fighter unlike any other, not concerned about inflicting authority upon others through his power, but merely in possessing it and demonstrating it. I do not think it would be wise to go out there. If he does still draw breath, there would be no greater joy for him than to break his own bonds by his own strength.
Hmm. Oh, that's pretty good. That's a pretty good argument, all things considered. Um, would you like to try to roll persuasion to change
Let's
her mind with that argument?
let's attempt it. I guess I'm looking for negotiation or presence.
Negotiation, because she wants
Negotiation in
Yeah,
something.
this case, and
yeah.
she's resisting. Uh, I think you with her own negotiation, right? Will a
Right. Well,
negotiation?
it's back
Mhm.
and forth. I want something.
I
Exactly.
want you to not sacrifice yourself to the middle of the woods and goblins with one success.
Colette the abbess. Did I give her dice? This is an old stat block, and I did not give her stats
Piety
that
and
she should have.
Mystic might apply. Literally
Mm,
speaking to people who are in the exact same profession as me, with the exact same beliefs.
I guess so, but wouldn't that bite like wouldn't that cut both ways, right? Like she could
Uh,
also
yeah,
I guess you're
that is true. If it was a one-sided roll, perhaps that would make more sense.
she's got a vengeful fighter. Whoa, hey cat.